So today's the day that I've been looking forward to for quite a while now. I've been talking about making a video about this engine rebuild that I completed about a year or so ago. I'll try and dig out some of the photographs that I took during the rebuild process to help kind of go through this. A little overview, like a walkthrough of some of the things that I did now that it's all done and put back together, and explain some of the engine rebuild decisions that I made and how I decided to go about that. So anyway, I have at least a year's worth of experience now. I also installed a cylinder head temperature gauge, which has helped me to follow the cylinder head temperatures throughout the whole engine break-in period. I don't have an oil pressure gauge, but I do have the oil pressure indicator light that does work, and so far everything's been functioning quite well. I don't know exact oil pressure or oil temperature, but cylinder head temperature, I have kept a pretty good eye on that, and I do have a fairly good sense of where it likes to naturally operate and at different at different speeds and different loads on the engine. So anyway, let's get in here and take a quick look. Okay, so here we are with the engine cover removed, and as you can see, it is a little dusty now. Like I said, this has been about a year, or perhaps even a little longer, since I did the rebuild. This is all stock. This airflow meter has been replaced, and it comes with this cap glued on. You're gonna end up taking this off because you're gonna have to learn how to adjust this airflow meter, especially if you were to replace the cam with a different one that's not stock, which I highly recommend doing. This is for the idle mixture here. All that does is adjust the air-fuel ratio at idle. It doesn't do much more than that. So after idle, this thing pretty much becomes irrelevant. And the main, where you get most of your adjustment, is going to be in here. In fact, you can adjust the idle in here as well as the higher RPM air-fuel ratio. Here's the O2 sensor welded in to the exhaust system, and that's the narrow band for the computer. But then right here, I don't know if you can see that, there's another port I have, and I can remove that nut, and I can, here actually, let's go inside here and see if we can get a better view. So basically right there I have that port. See this one here where my finger is? That port is for a wideband O2 sensor, so that you can run an LM2 tester while you're driving, and you can check your air-fuel ratios. So anyway, that's kind of a handy thing you can have welded in. So this is it. It's mostly stock. It has the Web 73 cam and the cylinder heads that have been reworked quite a bit. But that's the stock fuel injection system. So anyway, let's see. Should we start it up and get it running so we can hear how it idles? I did drive this today, so it is warm. It's not hot, as you can see. I mean, it's not warm. It's not hot, but it's been sitting for, I don't know, at least an hour. So it's not going to be a cold startup, but it's a cool, we'll call it a cool startup. So let's start it up then, and we can listen to it idle. This has the Porsche swivel foot adjusters. So it sounds pretty good. Okay, let's give it a little. Let's set the camera back here. I'll give it a rev it up 3 times. Yeah, let's come on over here and I'll show you how it sounds from this view. It was my first time rebuilding an air-cooled engine. I've rebuilt V8. Here, let me shut this engine off. Now that it's warmed up, let's restart it and see how well it starts. That's with a pretty old battery, and that starter came with the transmission. I pulled the transmission out of at the pick and pull, my local pick and pull, and the transmission was out of an '81 non-camper van. So I took it out. I got the clutch pedal assembly and the shifter. I got all the parts to switch it over right out of a junkyard car. I think I spent probably around 150 bucks for all the parts, including the transmission, or 175 bucks, whatever it was. It was totally worth it. So anyway, that's the. So you know, this thing. Oh, by the way, let's look at the cylinder head temperature. So we're sitting here. I know it's been just started up, but there's the cylinder head temperature sitting here, revving it up, less than 200 degrees. And when I'm cruising, it'll generally move up maybe 325 to 350 on the freeway now. When I first did the rebuild, it was running more like 375 when I was cruising, and now a year later, I noticed there was a point in time where it kind of dropped down a little bit. So I think that was a good indicator that the engine finally broke in. And I think the goal of this video is to demonstrate that instead of just abandoning the air-cooled engine, there are ways to make it work for you. And it's a cool little engine. It sounds good. It's original. And there's a lot to keeping things original. If there's any questions, you want to know more about this engine, happy to share some of my experience, some of the tougher parts of it. Obviously, make sure the case bolts are well sealed. Oil leaks on these are really common, so it's hard. You got to be really diligent about that. I thought I was.